Welcome back to another episode of Motogp Mac, and today we're going to talk about KTM's Qatar test. Now, I will say I was a little bit disappointed in what we saw with KTM. I thought they were going to bring out some new aero, especially to try and test at least anyway, but there was nothing major appeared on the KTM. Now, I guess that they were working on engine and electronic stuff. I know they haven't finalized their engine yet, so they had two versions of the engine to try in Qatar. Now, when I look at lap times, on the first day of testing, I was quite impressed with Brad Binder, but the second day of testing, it didn't seem to work for them. Now, I don't know were they just race pace testing, but if they are race pace testing, this is even more so worrying. And if the reason I'm saying this is that if you look at the test times, Brad very rarely ducked into the 1 minute 52s compared to the likes of Pecco, Bastianini, Martin, even Alicia Spargaro, and a couple of others were more regularly in the 152s. He did do a couple of fast laps towards the end, but again, I suppose it is worrying if that is their true race pace. Jack Miller is in the same boat. You know, he was in the 1 minute 54s for the majority of it and 153s, occasionally ducking into the 1 minute 52s. And I think he did one lap in 1 minute 51s. So again, the overall pace that KTM is showing is worrying. The only thing that is, I suppose, on the plus side is that they haven't decided their engine spec and they were still testing to see and understand what that is. The other thing as well, I will put gas in with KTM as it is a KTM technically. I think Pedro Acosta did quite well. He wasn't the sensational lap time topping rider that he was in Sepang, and I suppose that is really that he had less time to get acquainted with a MotoGP bike around Qatar than he did with Sepang. But again, he did fairly well for a rookie. I do take my hat off to him. But I'm extremely worried about Augusto Fernandez. I do know he was testing parts, but again, he was in the high to mid-high 153s and 4s, and some even 55. So there's definitely something there for Augusto Fernandez that he is not gelling with the bike, and his pace tells us this. He is more so on test rider pace than on race rider pace, which is quite worrying for me. But again, overall, I think KTM, they're quite happy, well, or saying that they're quite happy with the pace. You know, Brad did have a few issues, is what he did say as well, between from petrol to yellow flags. But again, that's not really going to hide the times on the timesheet. You know, if you're unlucky a couple of times, but if you do look at the overall test times, look at the pace, you know, I don't think they're there yet from what we can see in the times. And I will say what I said yesterday, I'm looking at multiple lap times, not just one lap time, and I'm comparing it back to back on the same day, same lap conditions. Okay, they might be testing an engine or whatever, but again, they're still about half a second to 7/10 of a second behind Ducati from these lap times. But I definitely love to know your thoughts. What do you think of KTM's test? And are you worried, or do you think they will come good? Definitely leave your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll be back again tomorrow with another video.